Imagine this. You're in the final stretch of a marathon you've trained decades to run. Every step you take now carries the weight of every sacrifice, every triumph, every hurdle you've overcome. This is the moment where focus is everything, where even a single misstep could unravel all you've built. And then, out of nowhere, someone steps into your path, arms outstretched, demanding you carry their burdens. A sibling, a partner, a friend, someone you once trusted. But let's be honest, at this stage of your journey, the last thing you need is to shoulder responsibilities that were never yours to bear. You are not a lifeguard diving into turbulent waters to rescue those who refuse to swim. You are not a vault, storing away others' guilt or empty promises. This is your life, not theirs. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how can you become who you are if you're constantly bending to the will of others? There are those who ask for things they have no right to ask: your time, your energy, the quiet calm of your mind. These demands are more than inconveniences. They're thefts of your joy. Have you ever felt like an emotional ATM, dispensing care while others withdraw until your reserves are empty? Or worse, like you're bailing water from a sinking boat while everyone else stands dry on the shore, watching? This is the harsh reality for so many. We give until we're hollow, mistaking self-sacrifice for virtue. Let's speak plainly. You've earned the right to say no. You've raised families, built careers, loved fiercely, and survived storms no one else saw. Why then should you cling to burdens that don't belong to you? Picture a rope frayed by years of tension. Pull it harder and it snaps. That rope is you. You've been cast as a lifeline for people who've had ample time to learn to float on their own. But you are not a tool to be used and discarded. Your peace, your health, your life. These are not currencies to be spent on others' whims. Consider the weight of favors that morph into obligations. A request for help becomes a demand for rescue. A loan becomes a debt never repaid. You're labeled selfish for refusing. Yet where is the accountability for those who exploit your kindness? Jung warned, "What you resist persists, and what persists here is a cycle of guilt, manipulation, and quiet resentment." You are not a bank, yet they ask for your savings. You are not a caregiver, yet they drop responsibilities at your feet like unclaimed baggage. You are not a mediator, yet they drag you into battles you didn't start. Here's a truth that stings. Love doesn't drain you. Love doesn't weaponize guilt or disguise control as concern. You've been an umbrella in someone else's storm, reliable in crisis, forgotten in calm. But you're left soaked, shivering, while they walk away dry. How many times will you let this happen? The answer lies in boundaries. In the words of Jung, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Choose to become someone who guards their peace as fiercely as they once guarded others. Let's talk about money, the silent killer of relationships. Imagine this: a quiet morning, coffee in hand, the world still soft around the edges. Then the phone rings. It's not a check-in. It's a plea for just a little help, dressed as urgency. What starts as a loan becomes a pattern, a bottomless pit where your security vanishes. Lending money now isn't generosity, it's gambling with your future. You're not just handing over cash, you're surrendering peace of mind, trust, and the stability you've earned. And when you dare to say no, you're met with outrage. "But we're family." They cry as if shared DNA justifies emotional blackmail. This isn't love. This is transactional affection, conditional on your compliance. You're told to loosen up, to be there for them. But who's there for you? The brutal truth? You cannot light yourself on fire to keep others warm. Your savings, your home, your hard-won serenity. These are not communal property. They're the spoils of a life lived with intention. Protect them. And what of family conflicts, the battles over inheritances, the simmering grudges, the pressure to fix relationships broken long before you got involved? You're asked to mediate, to smooth over decades of dysfunction with a few well-chosen words. But stepping into that chaos is like diving into a whirlpool. You'll drown trying to save others. Jung understood this. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Your role isn't to heal their wounds, but to refuse to let their shadows dim your light. You've spent a lifetime building a legacy. Don't let it crumble under the weight of others' demands. Now let's confront one of the most insidious requests: being asked to change who you are. Imagine someone, a child, a sibling, a friend, subtly or not so subtly, suggesting you update your habits, your style, your passions to fit their idea of what's acceptable. Don't dress like that. It's outdated. Why listen to that old music? Can't you just be more modern? These aren't harmless comments. They're grenades lobbed at your identity, implying that the life you've lived, the person you've become, is somehow inadequate. Carl Jung once observed, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And here lies the crux. When others demand you change, they're asking you to reject the very essence of your being, the scars, the wisdom, the quirks that make you you. Your preferences aren't relics, they're milestones. That music, it's the soundtrack to your survival. Those clothes, they're armor you chose after decades of battles. To erase them is to dishonor your journey. Yet people will push, mistaking their discomfort with your authenticity for a flaw in you. They'll say, "Loosen up," not realizing that what they're really asking is for you to dissolve into a version of yourself that's palatable, convenient, small. But here's the truth they miss. Your life isn't a performance. You aren't here to play a role in someone else's script. Every time you dim your light to avoid blinding others, you betray the soul that fought to shine this brightly. Jung wisely noted, "The pendulum of the mind alternates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong." Their demands for you to change are their nonsense, not your truth. Don't confuse love with assimilation. Love should magnify you, not mute you. Then there's the ultimate ask, sacrificing your feelings for theirs. Picture this. A loved one says, "If you do that, you'll hurt me." Suddenly, your joy becomes collateral damage in their emotional war. They frame your choices as betrayals, your boundaries as cruelty. But what they're truly saying is, "Your peace is less important than my comfort." It's emotional hostage-taking, and the ransom is your autonomy. How many times have you swallowed your needs to avoid rocking the boat? How often have you let guilt override your intuition, staying silent while resentment grows like weeds in your chest? This isn't harmony. It's self-abandonment. Jung reminds us, you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. And what you've been doing is prioritizing others' temporary comfort over your lasting peace. But you cannot negotiate your way into being valued. Either people respect your right to exist fully, or they don't deserve access to you. Let's be clear. Setting boundaries isn't coldness, it's clarity. When someone says, "Don't make me feel bad by living your truth," they're confessing their inability to handle your strength. That's their work, not yours. Your responsibility isn't to manage their emotions, it's to honor your own. This isn't about burning bridges. It's about refusing to let others set fire to your soul to keep themselves warm. As we wrap this journey, remember Jung's words. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Look deeply. What do you see? A lifetime of resilience, of love, of quiet triumphs. That's worth protecting. The world will always have demands, but you get to choose what deserves space in your sacred inner world. So, to anyone who asks you to shrink, to sacrifice, to silence yourself, say no. Say it firmly. Say it without apology. Your peace is not a bargaining chip. Your joy is not negotiable. You've earned the right to stand in your truth, unedited and unafraid. The marathon isn't over. It's evolving. And every step you take in alignment with your soul is a victory. Now I turn to you. Which of these truths cuts deepest? Have you felt the weight of others' expectations crushing your spirit? Or have you found the courage to reclaim your peace? Share your story. Let's build a chorus of voices saying, enough. Because in the end, the greatest act of love for yourself and others is to live a life that's undeniably, unapologetically yours.